guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am author ER Reading, and in this video I'm going to kind of be doing a process that I like to call plot pantsing. So I'm a pantser at heart, but I like to have a bit of an outline, and I really wanted to go in depth on my characters in this run. So this time I'm plot pantsing. So plot pantsing, I'd like to define it as like taking the inklings of an idea and sitting down, and I wrote like scenes or little tidbits just here and there that I kind of pieced together and added things to, and I ended up going in depth on characters and other things that I wanted more details on before starting this time. And that's kind of what the whole point of this is just really like outlining in a way that works for a pantser. Alright, as I just explained, I'm going to be plotting. So the project I'm going to be working on is something that I've been working on for a while. It's fantasy and it's pretty exciting, but I'm going to be working on it for just a short amount of time today because I don't have a lot of time, but it just keeps coming into my brain, which is super interesting because with Soul Chaser, it was merely a drive to get it done, and it just turned out so the way I love it because of influences around me and things that I wanted in my story. It wasn't really this was the vibe that I got for it, or I really strongly knew a character, but this has some strong vibes. I have some strong feelings and excitement over this one. It's kind of like going into Soul Chaser 2, Project Angel. I had more information, I had more drive behind and meaning behind each character and behind the plot. So that's kind of what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to set like 15 minutes is what I'm going to set because I don't have a whole lot of time today, so 15 minutes of that, and then I'll update you when I work on it again and kind of show you through the process a little bit how it's going. As far as that session went, I'm still figuring a lot of the details out in my brain, and so it didn't like get a bunch out, but I did figure some things out. Some things clicked into place. I still have a couple things left in the overarching big picture of this story. Sometimes that's the most difficult part because I know where I want to go with this story. I know kind of where the middle is for this, and I want to figure out the end. I don't think it will be that hard. But the beginning, I need all the details to come together, and there's a lot of research that needs to go into it, so it's a bit more difficult than my normal story, which is why I've decided to do this method. And I did do some of it, and I definitely got some things come to me, and I did a little bit of brainstorming that wasn't just writing words, and it's a new experiment and experience. So I'm gonna keep trying, but not today. I will see you guys next time I do this. Good morning. It is Friday, the 27th of January, and I was going to not work at all on my writing today because I have a dentist appointment in an hour and I have line edits that need to be done. However, I do have an hour that I'm not doing anything. I got everything else done that I needed to this morning, so I think I'm gonna work on my plot pantsing for a little while. Alright, so I worked on it for about 20 minutes and I got some good ground, and I kind of have an idea where I want to start the story, which is great because then it brings the cast together. It kind of gives us an idea of who everyone is. I'm very excited about it. That being said, I'm going to call it a day for my writing experiment so far, and I will again talk to you next time I work on it. Alright, so what you saw me doing just now is kind of like lucid dreaming, daydreaming kind of a deal. So I turn all the lights off, I put on music, or I don't sometimes, and I lie down and I breathe and I think about where my brain goes, and I thought of a few things that time, some of them relating to the story that I'm plot pantsing, so I figured I would share it here. So some of these ideas started to form a little bit better of a picture for me, and I'm a very visual person, and so when I can do this, I don't do this very often, but that's kind of where actually the story idea came from, was me just daydreaming in my bed, and I was like, oh, this is coming into, like, this is clicking into place for what I needed to do. That is very exciting, and so this little process that I did here today, it was about like 10 minutes worth of sitting there doing nothing, and I felt relaxed and excited about the story again, and I'm very excited to work on this story. I have interesting ideas for it going forward. I'm not sure one big plot thing that I need to figure out in order to move forward with a few things, which is the villain. And the villain is very versatile. It can be many things with this particular story, and so I'm not sure where I want to go with it. And that's going to be next, like on Saturday when I plot pants, or on Friday. And that's when I'll update this video again. But this technique really helps me as a visual person who can visualize things to hone in on certain characteristics or certain little details that I wanted to fill in, or just get excited again. And so this is a technique that I want to use more often. Hey everyone, it is Wednesday the 8th, and yesterday I was talking about my daydreaming and all that, and today I'm supposed to be writing my other book. However, I wasn't really feeling into it, so I figured I would work on this project. I'm going to try and figure out a couple major things that I wanted to work on. Not expecting too much. I'm going to work on it for about 10 minutes. That's it for today, and we'll see where we go. That session actually went really well, and I now have a key factor that brings in the villain and brings in some other unique plot points, and I'm very excited about it. It gives us a quest and a mission, and I'm very excited, so good progress today. February 10th, 8:02. Hey guys, what's up? It's February 10th, like I just said, and now I'm going to be working on plot pantsing some more today. Now that I've put my hair up, it's time to get some music and kind of plan out what I'm going to do today completely for plot pantsing. Alright, now that my 30-minute timer is prepped and my music is up, I'm going to kind of walk you through my thoughts on my current predicament when it comes to my plot pantsing. I think I'm honestly very close to being done the plot pantsing. I have a few characters that need work, and then I have some connecting stuff to a future event, and once I figure that out and figure out ending characters and the connecting plot point, and then I think I'm pretty much done plot pantsing. I don't think I'll get all that done today, however I think I'm getting closer, and since I clicked into place a couple things last time, I'm positive that this time it'll be the same. Alright, I went through and I actually got some perfect things that clicked into place. I'm so excited. So those are done. Now all that's left is the characters. So I figured out the ending bit, and I worked in some little things that I'm super excited about, and I worked out some linking that needed to happen. Now it's only characters that I need to work on, and then it's ready to be drafted when I start drafting it. So that will almost be the end of the video. I'll have one more session, probably next week, and then it's on to the drafting phase with this one. However, if you've seen my publishing board video, linked in the description box below, you'll know that this won't be drafted for quite some time. It'll probably be drafted in a few more months, and that's kind of sad, honestly. I really want to get working on this story, so I might work a little bit here or there on it, but my dedicated drafting currently is on my romance, so that's what I'm currently drafting, and I'll be working on rewrites for my second book to Soul Chaser, so that'll be what I'm working on next for draftings. But when I do draft this, I'm sure there will be a vlog. Hey guys, it is next week, Friday, since I last filmed for Plot Pantsing. I haven't done any work on this story, and technically I should honestly be working on line edits, but I'm going to be working on this for like 20 minutes. I have character stuff that needs to be worked out, kind of a little bit of where I want certain characters to go. I have character stuff, I have something to do with, there are like two sides of the story, and something in the one side of the story still needs to be figured out anyways. So I'm going to be working on that. Got some orange juice, and I'm going to try to get at least 2 or 3 characters done. I really sometimes struggle with characters because certain side characters come very easily to me versus main characters, especially if they're female. I have a harder time. I mean, this one, it's like 2 male and 1 female kind of. It's mostly male point of view for the book, so at least there's that. I've been told that that people like my male characters, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to come up with their motivation character stuff. I'm not good at this stuff. My sister is amazing at it. I'm really bad at coming up with characters, honestly, and actually sticking to it when I write them. And I know that there's supposed to be some wiggle room, but it's honestly so difficult when you want them to have a certain motivation. You want them to have inner motivation so that people relate to them, but yeah. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to work on one of the main characters, actually 2 of the main characters, and then another side character that I'm excited about. Alright, I got actually 4 characters done. I thought I was only going to get 3 done, and I got 4, and I'm happy with most of it. There are a couple things that I'm still unsure about, but I'm sure that I'll be able to work it out when I'm actually writing. This was more of a just character development. It wasn't anything super special, but I am going to continue this next week and hopefully get through the rest of the characters. Hey guys, it's the next day after filming, and today I'm just going to kind of work through some more character scenes. So these character scenes are really just to get a feel for the characters, so I might do a few for some later characters because I'm not quite sure what their voices sound like. The first 3 that I did that are going to be POVs, I felt pretty confident. I need to do the other 2, like the 2 of them again, because I did their younger voice, now I need to hear their older voice. So that's kind of where that sits. I have about 9 characters. I can't remember if it's 7 or 9. I have lots of characters, so it's going to take me a hot minute to get through these scenes. But I want to do this story right, so I'm going to take my time, and it doesn't have an end date like publishing or anything like that yet, but I do want to start setting up a notebook with that kind of thing in it, and also story details and other things so that I can kind of keep a physical notebook, because I have one for every one of my major stories. So I have one for Soul Chaser, and I have one for the romance that I was working on, and I have one for another idea that I had been working on for a little while. So I just have one dedicated notebook for each of my stories that I'm working on. So this story, I will show you the notebook if I start working on that today, but I'm going to set 30-minute timer. I'll try to do 1 or 2 scenes and then kind of work on the notebook for a little bit, I think, is my plan. just going to show you, because I don't want to set up top stuff, briefly, kind of a little bit of an overview. So this is the notebook I chose, which actually goes really well with the vision for the story, and I'm very excited about it. So in this, I've set out several sections, and I haven't filled, like, I just started labeling some of the sections, and I'll continue working on this as I go. But to start off, I have a title page that I haven't done yet because I don't know the title yet. It's interesting. I haven't come up with one yet. I will. The next page is Spark Vision Intention. So this page is going to be used for like vision board and like my intention for the story and where it came from kind of idea, so that when I get stuck or anything like that, I can come back to this vision or intention statement so that I can see why I started this story. It's just a helpful tool for along the way to spark excitement. The next section is outlining and notes. This will be my first outlining and notes section. I'm sure I'll have many more throughout this entire notebook, but this will be the first section. The next section is characters. So in here I'll fill out like character details, what they kind of look like, maybe some notes I have on them, or kind of where I want them to go by the end of the story, or my intentions for them essentially, because I do have some notes in the document that I'm working on. It's on Atticus currently, and I have character notes in there, but this is more just a portable or work through some things for characters or add in some different characters. So characters are in here. Next thing after characters is sprints. This is my sprint tracker. I have a time, length, count, and day section. So I do this in my other notebooks as well if I'm working on a project, and it really helps me to feel the momentum. Like I have one in my notebook for Soul Chaser, and it like records like the time I spent working on the rough draft, and there are a lot of pages, like a lot. And so in the section I'll put what time of day I wrote, the amount of time I wrote, the word count, and then the date. So that was really helpful and motivating for me, so that's what I'm going to do in here. It's much smaller, so I've set out quite a few pages for it. I might need more later, but that's what I've set out for now, about that much. Next section, and the last one I set out, is planning. So planning is kind of like what I want publication-wise, or like, because it's a serial, kind of planning out how I want that to work and kind of a deal. So that's this planning section. And also marketing and other things that I'll need to do in the future for this book, so that'll be in this section. And then I'll continue on with like outlining or other things that I need to do. So I'm about like, that far in with sticky notes and a couple of things filled out, and I'm pretty excited because I found colors that match the cover really well. I don't know if you can tell, but there's red and blue on there, and the gold matches really nicely, so I'm really happy with that. So these two are Bic gel pens, and then this one is a Papermate Flare pen, and I like these ones as well. Done for today, and I did get a scene finished, and I know who I'm going to write tomorrow, and I got this done, so I'm very excited, and I might work on it later this afternoon, but we'll see. Everyone, it is the third day of working on scenes, and I added some more to this notebook. So I added the outline and notes, like I did that top section. I didn't really add anything super intense, just like the headings for a couple of them. I got the characters heading, nothing too fancy, just a little bit of a here's what's going on, and then I added in my sprint. So I wrote a total of 426 words today, which isn't bad because this is really, I'm not going for speed at this point. I probably will when I'm drafting somewhat. However, this is more like I'm trying to figure out the characters and get them correct before I start the writing process of the actual book. So some of these scenes might be included, some of them not, some of them in their own way. So what I'm going to be doing currently is just kind of getting the characters ready. So this is actually really good. I was expecting a little less, so that's decent, and I'm happy with that for today. It was a 25-minute sprint for that, and then 5 minutes working on headings and stuff. So I will check back in with you when I work on this tomorrow. I'm not sure when I'll finish this vlog, maybe when I start the rough draft or something. And I'm sure there will be lots of vlogs of me drafting if you're curious about that process. But I will check back in next time I write. Today is going to be a good day, and I'm going to do a bit of a storyboard. I've done this before in a previous notebook that I had right here. So this notebook is a refillable notebook, and this is my Great Ideas notebook. And it has a lot of lists and other things that inspire me, and it's a really good idea. Sarah Cannon from Heart Breathings gave me the idea. I'll link her channel down below. This was the spread I did for Soul Chaser. If you know anything about Soul Chaser, I love all of this. This is great. It's got the characters' names in it too. And it's really interesting. Soul Chaser is coming out in May. So May 1st, it's coming out. Here's the cover. I was actually looking at the cover because I have the cover printed out in a frame, and I was admiring it again because I haven't looked at it decently in a while, and I'm getting excited because I'm about to order my proof copy for that, but that's not what I'm doing here today. That's another video, and I will probably go through my proofreading process in another video here, so subscribe again if you haven't. And we're going to jump into today, which is working on my other idea, which is in pre-writing form. So as a pantser, I think that there is a fine balance between plotting and pantsing and revision and edits and things like that. A fine balance. Like, I think that there's a good enough outline that can help any pantser. And I think that because of the way that my first novel went, I'm very certain of how pretty much every book that I write is going to go. But to explain how that went, I wrote this very rough outline. It was like, this is kind of what I want to start, this is kind of where I want the middle to be, and this is what I want the end to be. That was it. 3 little plot points, literally only like 3 or 4 plot points that I wanted to hit, and that was it. And boy, oh boy, did I add some things into this book that I wrote. So, knowing my process, I'm very excited to see how developing the characters more helps with this need to pants and go off outline. Off outline, go wild with my story. Alright, for this session I wrote over 700 words, just over 700 words, which is really great, and I got it to kind of fall in love with one of the characters that I was feeling a little bit hesitant on, and I'm very excited about that. So I wrote 2 scenes, and I've got 2 more characters done, so I've got 1 character left to have like the main scenes done, and then I'm going to work more on each character and kind of feel out different aspects of them, kind of work them through different situations to kind of get to know them really well, and then it's time to jump into the actual drafting. But today I went ahead and started working on my vision board and my Spark Vision Intention section, so I'm not going to share too much of that because that's got some spoilery stuff in it, but it is going well. I still have like a whole section at the bottom here that I want to fill out, but I printed out some pictures. Our color printer wasn't working, so they're all in black and white, but it's not the end of the world. I'm very excited about them, and I'm very excited about this story, so I can't wait to continue working on it, and I still need to record my sprint, but other than that, I'm going to check back in next time I write, and I'm very excited about it. One character left. This one is a little bit different. I've been procrastinating writing this character, so I'm curious to see how it goes. So that was definitely a lot less words, but again, I only had one scene to do, and I reviewed the other scenes that I wrote to kind of see if I got the voices correct, and I'm really happy with most of them. The two that I was kind of cautious about, worried about going into, turned out a little bit less like I want. Like, one of them is doing good. The last scene that I wrote, I'm not 100% sure what the character feels like yet, so I think I still need to do some work on him, but the rest are looking really good, and I'm really happy with one particular scene, actually a few of them, so that's good. I always have a really hard time seeing if my writing is good in the moment. I think that's very common for writers, so it's really nice to see it, going back and reading it and being like, oh, this is actually going somewhere. The next step is really just figure out the little bits of character stuff that I still want to figure out. Like, I'd probably do at least one more scene for each character, if not more for some, and then move into actual writing. Now, when it comes to actual writing, I'll probably have a lot more words per sprint and kind of have more in this notebook, like for my outline section and such. I'm probably going to start outlining on Monday, but as far as this video goes, I'll probably finish it here, and then I can always do another video updated on my notebook or my experience so far starting a new draft. But I think that so far it's been going well, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe and like the video, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye!